Awesome. Well, let's get started. How y'all feeling? This is Diversitech Day 3? Day 3. I hope it's been amazing. I hope you all have been connecting, learning, and just leveling up your tech careers. And so I'm excited to talk to you all, my beautiful panel. Before we get started, I want to give you all a moment to introduce yourselves because I know all of you have a unique and amazing journey. So I'm going to start with Shaque'l. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, hello. So my name is Shaque'l. I'm better known as your favorite six-figure chick. Myself and my team, we are Six-Figure Chick Consulting. We've been working in this space for the last couple of years, trailblazing, exploding black tech, and ensuring that people know that they can make these transitions, they can do the work that they want to do, and they don't have to go back to school in order to be able to do so.
Period. And that's so true. Ebere.
Okay, so my name is Ebere. I'm the founder of a tech startup called Techfluencer. And what we do is basically provide technical trainings for people who are interested in transitioning into tech through data analytics. So we teach you basically the technical skills that you need to succeed in these roles.
Lovely. And last but not least.
I'm Dennis. My background is engineer, hands-on guy. I transitioned lately more to cloud engineering, migrations. So I got my hands on the keyboard. I'm more, post-sales implementation. So I actually do the work. But yeah, my background is more engineering and, just transitioning to more of a consulting role where I work with a lot of MSPs, AWS, Azure, those roles for cloud migrations.
Love that. And I love that you have your hands right into the technology. So I also want to know, do you create content and kind of share your journey and what your learnings are?
Yeah, so right now I've transitioned more of like a mentee where I'm creating content, helping others, things like that. Because throughout my career, I've been real busy, day to day, working on a lot of different outages, things like that. I was involved with 9/11. I was actually on the ground floor working on Wall Street during that day. So, just now, it's the last 5-6 years, I've been more transitioning where I can help the community, help out others getting into tech. When I started, it wasn't really a big thing, for our community.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're getting more of a, understanding of how we can, represent, the tech world. And that's, where I'm trying to transition. Yeah.
I really love your journey because you've been in the industry for so long, right? I've been in the industry since 2018,
Right.
and a lot of other people have been in the industry a lot shorter than me, but you've been here for, 9/11. I was still in Ghana back then. I was not even in this country, so
Right.
I think that, especially with what's going on in the industry today, it's easy to think, the tech industry is it's never going to recover. We're never going to have another boom. And so I want to dig into that with your background, right? What have you seen in terms of the cycles based on your 20 plus years of experience? But we'll get into that in a minute. Cool. So let's get started. My first question is for Shaque'l. So can you share your journey from being a tech influencer to establishing your own consulting business? And how has your personal brand played a role in that transition?
Yeah, absolutely. I accidentally got here. This wasn't on purpose. Black Girl Luxury TikTok was a thing at one point, and there was a video that was like, Black Girl Luxury TikTok, what do y'all do? And I was like, I work in tech. And that video got 3,000 views, and I thought I have made it. I was like, oh my God, I called Nike. I want all the brand deals. I've got it at this point. And the next day I sat down, not knowing how to work TikTok at all, and recorded a 3-minute long video explaining my transition and what I had done. And that video got 300,000 views. And I was like, please call Nike now. I'm ready. I've got my numbers together. I'm actually ready to go. But that's how this all got started. I worked at TikTok, and as a part of working there, I had to create a TikTok. And so I started making little funny videos, and then I made those too and went viral. I gave out random tips on the internet of just how people could take paths that I did. I have an untraditional path into tech. I worked in sales, so tech sales and sales training versus a more technical background like an engineer or things like other people might have experienced. And it's been dope. The personal brand has been great. I wanted to separate it. I feel like I'm trying to separate. I'm a whole person separate from the business. But when people see me, hey, six-figure chick, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's just, it just goes all together with it. It's fine. But it's, being able to be myself was a big thing for me on TikTok, and that's what's led to the success of this business and the success of, like, you know, us as consultants, has been that people see us and they see me and they're like, she looks like me, she sound like me, she got tattoos like me, she loud like me, her hair look like mine. I'm like, and it does, and people still pay me 6 figures to come and work in their corporations and do whatever, you know, things they need me to do, and so that's been the transition so far.
Love that story. I want to ask you, like, how have you been able to separate, or if you have, like, what are some strategies that you're using for that? Because I have that same problem with baddies in tech. So, yeah.
We've been trying. I've tried to create actual separate accounts now, so I don't post things to the business account anymore. If y'all go back like a year ago, you will see questionable outfit choices like on the business account, and then people are always like, oh my God, Shaque'l, I didn't know you had body. And I'm like, yeah, y'all only see me from the shoulders up, baby. So I've created I've just created separate content, create a separate account and trying to upload that content there so they can get to see the personality still here. I've also started trying to introduce my team. So we have a team now of 10 people, and so I let them create content, so my face stops being the forefront of it a little bit. And so when people know me, they're like, great, yep, that's my favorite 6-figure chick, but like, that's also Stephanie, and that's Nandi, and that's Kate, and all these different people on the team as well.
Love that. Okay, so my next question is for Ebere. So as a CEO in the tech advocacy space, what are some key challenges you faced, and how have you overcome them?
This is a really good question. I think the biggest challenge I faced was just building trust. And I think that, you know, because I'm very technical, there are not a lot of people that look like me in like technical roles. And so people would often, or a lot of people who look like me are mostly in like sales, right? So it was a hard sell for me to kind of introduce people to like the technical aspect of technology, especially like people that look like us. So the biggest challenge that I faced was just trying to build that trust and trying to let other people know that, hey, like, people that look like you code as well. Like, this is not like something that only Indians or like white people do. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I faced with building my business, yeah.
Nice. And how do you feel like, how did you overcome that? And how do you feel like it's going now?
I think how I overcame it was consistency, just continuing to show up regardless and saying, yes, this is a thing, right? And I think like I'm getting a lot more buy-in now than when I started. And I think it's still a small it's a slow transition, but it's happening, which makes me happy, yeah.
I think that's just such a testament to entrepreneurship in general, right? Like, and I think there might be people in the crowd who are interested in entrepreneurship, and that's such a lesson. Like, it might be slow, it might be hard, you will face challenges, but like the persistence and the consistency is what's gonna get you to your goal. So I actually really admire that about your journey. Cool, okay, so Dennis, how important is it for tech influencers to have a deep understanding of the industry, which you have, and technical knowledge when transitioning into entrepreneurship?
Good question. As far as me, I'm a technical guy, so that's a loaded question for me, because nowadays you really don't have to have a deep understanding of every technical aspect. You have to have a good team as far as social media. You got to be able to, communicate with them. And nowadays it's like, okay, you see somebody, influencer that has a good following, they put up a good reel like her, and you feel like, inside you have too much pride to reach out and network with them. For me, I feel like, if you see something nice, you should reach out to that person, learn, ask them where, who's your videographer, who did your editing, things like that. Instead of holding that back, you got to network with these people. Get on LinkedIn, get on, Instagram, wherever, and you got to network. I feel like people are holding back there and not being able to push yourself further without, communication, and that's what, that's where I feel like we should transition as far as, other people. If you like something, reach out to them, you know what I mean, instead of holding back.
Yeah, I really like that point. I've had a few people come up to me during this time that I've been here that, I'm interested in like sharing my journey online, starting like a tech advocacy type of business. And, what are your tips? And I think that leads me perfectly into my next question, which is for Shaque'l. And Dennis and Ebere, you're welcome to chime in here as well, but can you discuss the significance of networking and building relationships within the tech community as an aspiring tech advocate and entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Networking is my bread and butter for my clients, for my team, for myself. You can only get as far as you can get by yourself, but I was just having a discussion with a gentleman in the audience earlier, actually, of like, you can only do what you can do. There are roles that can be created for you. There's opportunities, doors that can be opened for you that you wouldn't be able to do by yourself. So I'm always down for networking. One of the big things about being here right now, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I'm here to sit next to Allie. You know why? Because Allie has BaddieCon coming up in August, and you know who's trying to be on that fucking stage? Is me. Like, there was an entire plan about this. But I'm really big on networking. Also, I, as a person who doesn't have a traditional background for tech, like I said, I got started doing customer service work, account management work, and sales work, so on and so forth. And so as a person who doesn't have that traditional background, I don't have what Dennis has, and I'm not even doing the work here that Ebere is doing either. I don't always command the same respect. And so the way in which I get that respect is who knows me and how fucking amazing I am at doing what I do, and the people that will speak about me in the rooms that I have never even been in. That is how like I have been able to amass what we've been able to do in such a short period of time, is because like my work and my network speaks for me. I don't have to.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, testimonials, people talking about you in rooms that you're not in is, the earned media of that is like, it's just unmatched. Like I've gotten way more opportunities by knowing someone than I have by, reaching out cold or trying to ask people for favors. I don't know my work. So it's so important. What about you all? What do you guys think about networking?
Yeah, I think, she hit the, nail on the head, right? Because she doesn't have a tech background, but she has a network of following where they could back her up. Like, you don't have to say, okay, I did this project, I did X, Y, and Z, I coded this, I did this, I made this platform, but you got people that are vouch for you, which is huge. And that's why I said before in the beginning, you don't really have to have a deep technical background nowadays. As long as you have that network surrounding you, you document your work, whatever projects you worked on, put it out there. You know what I mean? I don't care what, if you're working at a job now, make sure you take that job, that project you worked at that job, and put it on your platform, whatever it's Medium, LinkedIn, or whatever. Use Medium. I use that a lot for documentation. But even if you're at your job, make sure because that project you're working on, you can transition that to the next project or the next job. And if we don't have that documentation while we're at that job and they let you go, you don't have that information no more. So definitely document those projects, put it out there. You get opportunities that way as well. So, and I traveled a lot, so, because I was an MSP, which is basically like they'll contract with Microsoft, and then they need engineers to go on. They'll sell them a bunch of software. They need it installed on these servers. I used to be that person to travel to all the customers. I met a lot of people in the airports. 90% of my projects, the last 10 years, been people that I've met. I've never had an interview. So it's like I meet people in the airports. I talk. They see your laptop. Pull your laptop out. Make sure you got your certifications on the back of that laptop. And they'll ask you. They'll be like, "Oh, what do you do? You're a cloud engineer. Oh, I got this project." So yeah, that's just networking in the airports. I got a lot of opportunities that way. So
that's a hack. I love that. No, I think what you all are talking about. We posted something recently on the Baddies in Tech page, and it was about exactly this, like being loud about your accomplishment. And really it's like mediocre work done loudly gets you way further than really, really good work done quietly. Because if people don't know what you do, they don't know how to help you, they don't know what opportunities to direct towards you. So, to your point, like nowadays you don't even, and that might be like a double-edged sword, but like nowadays you don't even really need to know anything for real. Like, you do, right? Because people will see through it. But
whole website down.
Yeah. People will see through it. So you do need to know your stuff. But like it really is important to advocate for yourself, to, share the work that you're doing, to be loud about your accomplishments. And I think sometimes it feels like a little icky, like, posting on LinkedIn, like, oh, exciting announcement, but like at the end of the day, like you need to share your work so that you can keep getting the opportunities and get to your goal. So yeah, Ebere, do you have anything to add to the networking conversation?
I think you guys said really great things already. But one more thing, like networking again for me is really big. I have a networking event myself.
Down
Everything,
in Dallas, right?
Yeah, in Dallas. Like networking has put me in so many rooms. I'm here only because of networking as well. I think you guys hit the nail on the head as well. Networking is huge.
Love that. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. How do you balance advocating for important tech issues while also running a successful business? And that can go to anyone who wants to start on that.
Guess me, huh? I'm the tech guy. As far as, you got to repeat that one.
So it says, how do you balance advocating for important tech issues while also running a successful business? And I think everyone has, experience with that.
I can go. For me, I think having like a really good team is helpful. I don't think that I would come as far as I have if I didn't have like the support that I have from my team. So just being able to like prioritize things, knowing like what needs to come first and what needs to be deprioritized is also crucial. And then being able to delegate because there's way too many moving pieces. So having a solid team has helped me a lot. Yeah.
100%, I agree with that. So shout out to the Baddies in Tech team. We got Aaliyah here. And yeah, all the other people who really help run the community and the business. So I completely agree with that. Yeah.
I just believe in practicing what I preach. When I talk about the issues in tech, I am talking about a lot of the social issues, the fact that Black people aren't filling the space as much as we possibly should be, and it's likely due to, DEI issues and things of that sort. I talk about not allowing education to stop you from getting in and making sure that other organizations are going to not stop people from coming into their organization just because they don't have a certain degree or have previously had a certain title. And so I practice what I preach, and that's been really big for me. Like my team of 9, 10, I don't know how many people on this damn team, they are all women of color. Most of them are Black. There is one white lady. I pay my staff very well. My staff is salaried. All of the benefits that I tell people and my content they deserve to get, I offer to my employees as a single Black woman entrepreneur. I am out here giving 100% paid for medical, dental, and vision, fucking professional development stipends. My employees travel with me. Baby girl's flying first class back to Austin. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important to me. That's how I want to tackle them is I can't say these organizations should give you this, they should give you that. This is what they better do. And then I don't offer that exact same thing or set that example or showcase to people that it is possible, it can be done. And if I can do it as, a small business owner, there's no fucking way that the Googles, the Metas, the whomevers cannot do it also. You should expect better from them. Request and require better from them.
Absolutely. Love that.
Woo. I don't know how I'm going to match that one, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it goes back to, as far as having a balance, nowadays you don't really need to be real technical. You definitely need to know the basics, as far as tech goes. If you're in sales, you want to definitely be able to network with the tech guys, the post-sales, post-implementation, and be able to communicate that back to the customer, right? So that's the big thing, as far as having a balance between your actual work and also having, the willingness and the team to build another business on the side, right? So nowadays we see all these layoffs. You definitely want to have a business on the side. 2, 3 businesses. Go get 3 LLCs and S corps tomorrow.
Let's talk about it.
You know what I mean? And as far as that, you gotta, like I said before, you gotta document what you're doing currently at your current job because they will let you go. And you can't take that information with you. Mm-hmm. So, and I keep preaching that because I did a lot of good projects. I've been some heavy hitters. And I didn't document certain things, and I couldn't get that information back. And I'm giving you them jewels right there. I don't care what you're doing. If you're in healthcare, finance, those projects, document it, and put it out for the world to see. You know, I mean, obviously you got to strip certain information out of those projects, but definitely document it and let everybody know what you're doing. So.
I think that leads me to my next question perfectly. So I want both Dennis and Ebere to talk about this, and you too, Shaque'l, if you have input. But in what ways do you think the landscape of tech, advocacy, and entrepreneurship has evolved in the recent years, and how can individuals adapt to these changes? So, like I was saying earlier, you've seen the cycles of tech. What do you think is going on? Give us the tea, because we're confused. A lot of us are confused.
Yes.
So, do you think it's going to recover? Is this different than what you've seen in the past?
Yeah, so I mean, I could go back to '99, right? So I worked with J.P. Morgan. 9/11 happened, and I started as just building servers, things like that, database, trading floor servers, supporting the help desk. And 9/11 happened. Everything transitioned to disaster recovery. You got to have 2 sites. You got to have 2 data centers. Your data got to be in 3 places, and that's compliance. Like that was government regulated. That wasn't more like for the business. They wanted to have 2, 3 sites in case something happens, you could recover that data. That's going back to 2011. Now you see it's more, they don't want any servers, right? You want to have everything in the cloud, AWS, Azure. I can't stress it enough. If you're in tech, learn about the cloud, get certified, just to have the basis. Even if you're in sales, sales is great for cloud right now. It's so easy to justify why to move to the cloud. You want to be able to have that basis to talk on that in the sales meeting, right? Okay, you're having issues, with your servers, they're not meeting performance. Okay, let's move them to the cloud. It'll adjust, based on, okay, you have 2 servers that are getting hit hard. It'll adjust automatically in the cloud, right? So it'll balance your load, things like that. So, I'm getting too technical here, but cloud is definitely something where we're going, right? We're obviously there, but it's going even more. It's getting serverless, but definitely get the bases in cloud right now. So.
Okay, so basically you think we're just in a juncture where you need to up level, you need to upskill, and things are just changing, and so it's up to us to kind of adjust our skills and really get ahead so that we can stay competitive.
Yeah, I think for me, it's when I started, I had to learn everything hands-on, read books, big tech, the big tech books. Nowadays you have boot camps. You go through in three months and learn a new skill right away. I didn't have that. I had to learn on the job, right? So I had some issues, right? That you had to be able to fix right away. You can't go through a boot camp, learn on through the course, learn how to interview. You have that now, so it's a lot simpler where you can pick up a new skill. You going through job listings. You want to look at those top skills that are needed and go learn it. That's it. The information's right there for you.
True. Use the job description as a cheat sheet. It's a cheat sheet. Ebere, do you have any input?
I think I agree with him in terms of upskilling. Like, things would always change. I remember when I started my degree is actually in computer science, and I remember then we had to learn like a different language. Like, I learned C++. Nobody uses C++ now. Everyone uses Python. Right. So you just have to stay up to date with things. And I think the layoffs and everything is because I think they're moving their money into AI. Like, everyone's prioritizing AI. They think that's the next big thing. So you have to upskill, learn something about AI, learn how to use AI in your industry. You know what I mean? So you stay competitive. And when they open these new roles and when AI has kind of integrated properly, you're in demand. So I don't think advocacy is going to change necessarily. We just need to keep advocating for what's coming. So even as advocates ourselves, we have to upskill, right? We can't keep advocating for the same thing. Yes. So I think that's definitely what's going to happen, yeah.
That's so funny you say that because my team and I have been talking about just that, right? Like, how does the messaging change? The industry is changing, and how do we make sure that we're preparing the people who trust us, our communities, for this next level? And it's all about us growing, and what is the new message? So I love that you said that. And to your point, like change is inevitable in tech. Like I feel like with tech, it's like if you don't want to keep growing, if you don't want to be a lifelong learner, just don't be in tech. Like that's just what it is. So yeah. So we only have a few minutes left. Let's see, what's my next question? Honestly, I think I'm just gonna end it with you all giving us a piece of advice that you want to leave the crowd with. So, Shaque'l, what's one piece of advice you would leave?
I am always going to preach for authenticity. I don't care if you're a budding entrepreneur or if you are someone who is trying to work at an organization, regardless of what it is that you're trying to do. Being your authentic self is going to get you significantly further. I know a lot of people are like, you need to be this and da-da-da-da. I say best authentic self. Am I asking you to go to work with your bonnet on? No. Am I asking you to be okay with wearing your hoop earrings and showing your tattoos? Yes. Like, I want you to be your most authentic self. You will put your best work forward. You will put your best foot forward when you're not worried about what you look like and what you sound like and are they gonna like this and are they gonna be mad about that? You don't have time for that. You just really don't. And from an entrepreneurial standpoint, we have built the community that we have in such a short period that we have because people are like, she looks like me, she sounds like me. When people meet me in person, they're like, you're the same person on the internet. I'm like, yes. Did y'all think that was some bullshit? Like this is. I've tried so hard not to curse this entire panel, but I'm like, yo. So lead with your authenticity. It works. It's not always gonna work out in your favor, but understand that even if it doesn't from the jump, it is going to work out in your favor in the end because you do not want to work somewhere, be a part of something where people are not interested in you being authentically you and you masking every single day. You do not deserve that.
100%. I love that. And that's what being a baddie in tech is, right? Bring your full self to the tech industry, bring it to your workplace, and let people accept you for that and do great work while being a baddie.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna act a fool. I'm gonna look great, but I'm also act a fool. It's gonna be wonderful.
Exactly. Ebere.
In terms of advice, so I'm very introverted and I am learning more to be, I guess, ambiverted because, I kind of have to. So I would say put yourself out there more. If you're someone like me who, you're mainly behind the computer a lot and, you have to, like we've been talking about, advocate for yourself. So I think that's one thing that I'm doing now that has really helped me. And I would say, like, a lot of people who are technical, they're not very front-facing or customer-facing because they're used to like doing all the technical stuff. So even if you're that, you need to, I think there's a really good blend that you can find where you can be someone who communicates well but still gets the job done, right? So advocate for yourself, communicate, put yourself out there. If you're someone who's technical and, you're a people's person, you can learn by practicing and networking and all of that. So yeah, that's what I would advise you.
I love that. Yeah, no, I relate to that a lot because I think people meet me and they think I'm extroverted, but I'm actually very ambiverted. And I've had to become, like, you learn it, right? It's through practice. It's through repetition that you learn how to network, you learn how to be in people's faces at these events. So yeah, it's something that can be learned if you're somebody that's not like that naturally. But yeah, I totally relate.
For me, I think it's, as far as advice, your technical skills, right? You really want to hone on to that. Make sure you got the bases down. Don't be afraid to get turned down, right? So, you go on these interviews, you're sending your resume, you're not getting feedback, things like that. Just keep going. The way I got in, I interviewed with 12-person panel. I was 23 at JP Morgan on Wall Street for the trading floor. And I never, I was just sending my resume out. I had a technical job, but it was more help desk, soft skills. I started as a Unix SA backing up servers. I transitioned that, just sending my resumes out because I wanted to move to New York so bad. I probably interviewed at 30 places before I got the job at JP Morgan, and I was just sending my resume out, sending it out, and I finally landed the JP Morgan. Since then, I really haven't had the interviews. I worked there for 5 years. Then I worked with IBM and EMC, which is now Dell. But since then, I probably really haven't had the interview. It's more networking, network, and document. I'm a technical again, so you got to document, and make sure you got the technical skills behind you to be able to talk the lingo, because your sales people are going to love you for that. So that's all I got for you.
I love that. Your experience has spoken for itself, and you don't even have to do all that. And that's the level we all trying to get to one day. So
You're there.
I love that. Right. Cool. Well, I think we still have a couple minutes. So are there any questions from the audience?
What do you do when it comes to you feeling very overwhelmed and having to, I see your face, Shaque'l, when you feel overwhelmed and maybe have to take a break or have to put your work off on someone that is on your team?
Thing when I raise my prices. You are gonna take less clients and still make good money if you raise some prices up a little bit. I know y'all might not want to hear that as people potentially looking for the services, but entrepreneur to entrepreneur, raise the prices. If I'm getting fatigued and overwhelmed with work, that sounds like I might be taking on a little bit more than what I can do, but I might have numbers or things that I'm trying to hit. I'm not saying price yourself out of where your client and your ideal person can be at, but thing one is I raise prices, and then thing two would be to try to lean on my team a little bit, right? There are things like Stephanie will laugh. I'm just no, I'm gonna do this. I don't need your fucking help. That's untrue. So I try to lean a little bit, what can I give to them? Can I maybe even just take a day or two? Can I take this part of the project, but they do the execution or whatever else might be? So that way I can at least do that front end, that customer facing part that is really important to me to make sure the brand stays consistent there. But I'm gonna tell you to raise your prices because you probably need to.
I serve an underrepresented community, so I try to.
I do too. But let me tell you something. I do too, and we did almost 7 figures last year. They paid that shit. We get work done, and we and you know what I'm saying. We offer scholarship opportunities where we can. There are so many things that we do to still continue to give back, right? And to work with the people that we want to work with. But the business coach in me is switching on a little bit. You cannot watch your clients like pockets, and if you're going to, you need to get some corporation or somebody else that's going to pay you the amount of money you need to make, not your worth. I hate associating worth with what your income is going to be, but it pays you what your skill level is at and for the outcome that you are producing for people. And then you can help those clients out. But there's got to be some give and take. You're not meant to be a fucking martyr. Don't do that to yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna get on your calendar. Thank you.
I want to know, is there anything else you could tell me, when it comes to, do I have to upscale? What's the secret sauce? Because I want to, get into more of the contracted lifestyle. Is there anything you can give me, anything you could tell me about doing that?
I can answer part of that. I think you're definitely trying to do a lot at the same time, but I feel like you have to have your basis. So whatever your main skill is, make sure you have that down packed. You have your basis, and then on the side you start building up your other businesses, right? But you definitely want to have that foundation before you start, trickling out, right? And I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna keep it simple. Network. Once you have your basis, your foundation, then you build your network. And then you can start building out the other things you're trying to do with the kids and stuff like that, with community. But you definitely want to have a foundation where you have a resume and a network.
Okay.
Network before you need things from people is what I'm going to say. You at some point, based off of what you're saying, you're going to want money or something, right? There's going to be things that you're going to need to ask people for or to partner with or whatever the case is. A lot of people wait until they need things to network. They wait until they're in that moment, and then it's no longer networking. This is transactional. You need something from me, and you want me to give you, you know what I'm saying, something, versus, hey, Shaque'l, I wanted to connect with you. I love the work that you're doing with Six Figure Chick, da-da-da-da-da. I think that this could, we could partner together on doing this thing. I'm thinking about doing a fundraiser. I'd love for, your company to be a part of it in some way, whatever. And then a year from now, great. Now it's, hey, Shaque'l, as the CEO of a Six Figure Chick, would you mind, would you be interested in making a $50,000 donation to my, recovery house or to whatever, my transition home for these children? children. You see how we take the steps to get there versus I am networking when I need the money or when I need the thing. So if you're talking about building a bond and a relationship with other business owners and partnering with them, make sure it's a true partnership. People love to say partnership, and what they mean is I need something from you and I don't want to pay you for it. And that's not how partnership works.
I heard a lot about kind of like growth in this tech industry. I wanted to ask, how do you guys stay in the know? How do you guys grow in the tech industry? What are some of the things you use to kind of just stay informed?
I can take that one. Networking, like we've been saying, right? That's how you
LinkedIn.
stay informed. Yeah, you need people. Different people are doing different things. The industry is huge. There are other industries that use technology as well as that you can benefit from working in as well. So I think networking is the best way to stay informed and join groups and blogs and follow people who talk about technology on social media. That's the best way to stay informed.
Yeah, keep coming to these events
Yes.
and meeting people, networking with these people. Like we keep saying networking, but it's an underrated tool. Absolutely, keep coming to these events, and you'll meet the right people. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Curate the feed, curate the content you consume as well. Like, what does your feed look like? You know what I'm saying? When you're scrolling through, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or whatever. When I first got on TikTok, all I saw were things about how to invest in houses, because apparently that's all the content I would interact with. Now it's a lot different, but when I first did, that's all I got, is because I kept trying to look at that stuff. And so who are you following? Who are you connected to? So that way you're curating like what you're seeing. If you want to get these updates, there are people who are going to give updates all the time. And I'm personally not going to go looking for them. Like, I know me well enough to know the feed has to have it, because if the feed ain't got it, I ain't gonna get it. That's just me. So if you're one of those people, curate what content you're gonna be consuming as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, that wraps up our question section. Thank you for the panelists.
Great job, friends.